Celeste is one of those games that you just can't describe at first after finishing the game. On the surface, the game looks like a regular old platformer, a game that is generic with pretty low colors and often not boring repetitive gameplay, but it's much more than that. Celeste blew both my mind and my expectations away, even with the unbearably high expectations I had for it. The most surprising thing about this game is that it's an indie, an independent game, which is insane for the amount of polish this game has. And Celeste really does get brushed off, mostly because the competition was, well, tough in 2018. And you may be asking why. Well, first, God of War, a generation-defining masterpiece, Marvel Spider-Man, which really makes you feel like Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Do I really need to say anything else at this point? So people may argue that the game is only praised because it was an indie, and to that I say, what in the world is wrong with you? Because the game is a masterpiece that delivers an experience that cannot be experienced anywhere else. Something that is beautifully crafted in terms of both its storytelling and its gameplay. So let's dive on the same spikes of an easy level, climb a mountain, and gets insulted by an old lady in this mediocre review. The gameplay for Celeste is very interesting. Unlike other games in its genre like Mario or Rayman, the game is extremely difficult, which is its main part of its gameplay. It's meant for you to die and try again and die and try again, and the whole gameplay loop is learning from your mistakes and seeing what you did wrong. On the surface, from a person playing the game for the first time, it seems simple, as the game really only has three main controls: jump, grab, and dash. But what the game does well is using these simple controls and implementing them into genius platform and game mechanics. There's one level where there were walls and they would move only when you dashed, and they would quickly close, and you had to plan out how you were going to get through the road stump. Celeste often throws players on levels that at first seem impossible. But what's this showing is how good the level design is, and it's really good. Maybe the best I've ever seen. Its levels are simple, not overly complex, but very difficult and fun to do. Even if it's hard, I barely got frustrated in the game, and it was the perfect amount of difficulty for anyone's liking. And it was really fun trying over and over again to see what I did wrong. And the variety of levels are also really good. There are fast ones, chase levels, and very puzzle-like levels. There are enemies to fight and gimmicks on each level to make each world different than the rest. One had red orbs that moves wherever you point, and some had moving platforms to enhance jumping. But even every level also comes with its unique style of challenge. Some have different enemies, different things to stop you, like wind, and all of this is carefully woven into the gameplay to make it seamless, fun, and rewarding. The gameplay is also really smooth, responsive, and so fun to play with. The dash button is the star of the show here, as it's Madeline's main function, and it's used so greatly. It's used to get to higher or farther places while recharging when you touch ground level. This move provides millions of platforming ideas, and its ideas it did choose was excellent. Many levels depend on the fast or slow, patient moving of the dash button. And the jump button is, well, the jump button. And the grab button is a move that's actually really used so greatly, as it feeds into the genius platforming mechanics of Celeste. And when it's paired with its simplicity of level design, combining it with puzzle mechanics and action that feels carefully articulated to be perfect to the player, Celeste's gameplay is a symbol of its story, the journey to the Celeste Mountain. It's like a journey of struggles, and with that, you will struggle in this game, but no matter what, you will still succeed. Despite being a short game, Celeste does offer a lot to do post-game. Throughout levels, there are collectibles, most specifically strawberries. In a way, they are meaningless, but they don't offer any powers, level ups, or anything to do with the core gameplay itself. It's just there for people who do want to find it or complete the game. each strawberry does come with its own mini level or obstacle to grab the strawberry, which is a nice touch that didn't have to be added. But the strawberry system is simple and it's made for people who want more to the game, more challenge, and when I say there's a lot, there is actually a lot of strawberries in this game, around 175 in fact. That is more than my bank account. Speaking of challenges, by the way, there are things such as B-sides levels, which are levels that can be found by finding cassette tapes, which are hidden throughout levels in the game. These levels are more challenging, difficult, and create gameplay mechanics more frustrating than the original. It's something for people who want to experience more difficult gameplay structure in the same setting. Once you finish all the B-side levels though, you also get C-side levels, which are shorter in size, but even more difficult for completionists, which is even better for people who adore the game, but even worser for a casual player just like me. But the post-game content is extremely good, and there are also an extra 2 chapters to play even when you have to finish the game, which I plan on playing soon, but it's very hard to access. The 2 levels are, what I heard, amazing experiences, but it's locked behind getting all the B-sides levels, which can be fun but tedious at the same time. And if you were not already going for it, it will be a pain. The art direction for Celeste is amazing. It uses the pixel art structure and makes it look smooth and amazing throughout the multiple levels, vibrant colors, amazing color grading, and beautiful structures. But most importantly is how its art direction is woven into its story. It's beautiful, yes, but it also reflects what is happening in the game. Themes that are communicated in the story are further looked upon because of its art style. Using colors and pixels to communicate a message, make something feel more vast, or even make a player feel a specific way. Celeste uses this pixelated style and elevates it to a beautiful, stunning, vibrant world of colors. Music in platformers are always really good. Mario, Crash Bandicoot, and Sonic 2 have amazing soundtracks, and Celeste does not fall short of that. But what's different about the soundtrack of Celeste is it's not your typical platformer music. The music of Celeste is carefully woven into its story and gameplay, and it's powerful, and it also reflects on what's happening. One of the themes is uplifting when you climb the mountain, but one of its themes is also sad when there's a sad moment. The music gradually increases the emotional aspect of a game, making levels more fun with its music, or helping the storytelling of Celeste deliver its message more strongly. The soundtrack itself is also an amazing piece of music. Its cyberpunk aspects, pianos, and its sound mixing is one of the best I've ever seen, or heard, in fact. And the whole soundtrack itself has music that surely is a joy to listen to, and with each track comes a track so different, but at its core it feels just about the same, keeping its identity, and that's why I love its soundtrack. Now the best part about this game, the story. The story for Celeste is about a girl named Madeline that tries to take on a perilous challenge to climb a mountain. But not just any mountain, Celeste Mountain. A mountain with mysterious challenges that challenge her with their obstacles, but also from within Madeline herself. The game's story is very deep. It delves into a lot of themes and how it manages mental health and depression so greatly, and presents that to the audience as Madeline's struggles are powerful. The story tackles so many themes that people struggle with, and even if I don't suffer from any of these themes, its main message is to keep going. The game not only explored Madeline's struggles, but also helped people who experience the same thing every day and gave them a message. The impact this game had on me was powerful to say the least. It's not only a video game narrative, but it's also a reminder that people can get over anxiety, depression, and everything is okay. But in the story, how Madeline fights with her part of her, which is basically her bad side that always brings her down, is presented beautifully. They perfectly represent a person fighting it in real life, and how Madeline struggles to keep going, and as that the mountain serves as a metaphor. As you keep climbing the mountain, you keep fighting and defying the little voice that says you cannot do it. And the mountain itself is also a metaphor of life's challenges, which is why it's frequently mentioned in the story, and that's why some people don't scale the mountain and other people have had their lives change about it because of it. And the dialogue for this game is out of this world. It's simple yet powerful, goofy yet charming, and so smart in its delivery. Even if characters just mumble gibberish, it's gibberish to convey a personalized one, if that makes sense. It brings out the personality of these characters paired with its beautiful dialogue. Its characters are great. Theo, who Madeline meets by the way, is very charming, and Madeline herself is very complex on the inside. Her character is made in such a way that it's astonishing to see. Her fight with depression and anxiety is crafted with such passion, and her ending is beautifully made too. And as I mentioned earlier, Madeline fights with this character called the part of her, a copy of her, but it's the little voice in her head that always discourages her. And how this is executed is amazing, and how they made such a powerful thing into a character and somehow still have the personality of Madeline while representing what it actually means is mind-blowing. The dynamic between the part of her and Madeline is out of this world, and how it's created is beautiful. Madeline herself is such a beautifully created character that is most likable, relatable, and her character development over time throughout the story is made to use such themes and develop them over time with her character itself. The only problem of the story is it can be a bit vague, lose its footing, and sometimes doesn't communicate a message as clearly. But other than that, the story for Celeste is very unique. It's not something you would expect from a platformer. Its story is surprisingly deep. Its dialogue is really well written, and the game entangles the story in its gameplay that it's honestly crazy for indie game, independent game. And I will repeat that, because what's unique is that everyone's experience will be different. Whether true message, a message, or how they connect with certain characters, the story can be interpreted in so many different ways. And that lifts a narrative that is already good to a masterpiece. Celeste is a game that is an experience like no other, an experience you can't find anywhere else. It's fun, powerful, impacting, and almost perfect. It's a game, but way more than that. From its impressive gameplay to its powerful story, Celeste will earn the second ever mediocre score of a 10 out of 10. And that's the end of another mediocre review.